me ask you a question. Have you ever felt a calling for more in your life? Maybe you're working a job that you enjoy, but you know there's a book on the inside of you waiting to be written. Perhaps you're dreaming of owning your first home, starting that side hustle, or finally going after the promotion that you and I both know you deserve. Something in you keeps whispering, there's more. There's more to achieve, more to create, more to become. And you feel it. You feel it deep down inside. Yet, you find yourself caught up in the daily grind, balancing work and personal life, wondering how to take that first step towards your bigger goal, seeing others achieve what you know you're capable of, and asking, why not me? It's not that you're leaving everything behind. It's about knowing you don't have to settle. 5 years ago, I felt that pull. I love my job and I love the people that I work with, but I knew there was something greater on the inside of me. A podcast to launch, a business to build, a legacy to create. And today, we're diving into 3 critical mindset shifts that help me and countless others turn their dreams into a reality. So if you're ready to take that step into the next chapter of your life, whether it's writing the book, starting the side hustle, or pursuing your new goal, or just becoming the best version of yourself, you're in the right place. My name is Felix Bobo, and welcome to the Felix Bobo Podcast. One of the things that I am passionate about, and I've made a decision to go all in on that, is helping people to accomplish their goals and their dreams. And you'll say, well, many gurus will say, well, that's not specific. Everybody has a different goal and a different dream, and I understand that. But the thing that fills my cup is seeing other people succeed. It's seeing other people having a dream and turning that dream into a reality. And I know you listening to this, you have the ability to do that. But I realize that in our life, there are some things that stops not just you, but many people just like us from accomplishing those goals and their dreams. And today, I want to address those things head on so that we can identify what those things are and we can make the adjustments so you can get closer and closer to your dream. The first thing that I realized that stops many people from accomplishing their dream is this thing called fear. You say, well, Coach Felix, I don't have a fear problem. But you know what? I realize this. Fear comes dressed up in many different disguises. Fear comes dressed up as the costume of, I don't have enough money. Fear comes dressed up in the costume of, I don't have the right degree. All of these things are just fear dressed up in disguise. And it stops you from accomplishing the thing that you want to accomplish in your life. And the first shift that we must make in order to see our dreams and our goals become a reality is we must reframe how we see fear. And I'll start asking the question, what if? What if it doesn't work out? Okay, I had to ask myself this question when I left my 9-to-5 job, when I was making 6 figures and things were great. Listen, I couldn't complain. Now listen, were things perfect? No, but I can tell you this, I enjoyed my job. I enjoyed what I did, but I had this on the inside of me. But that fear kept me at that desk longer than what I should have been. That fear kept me second guessing, did I make the right choice? Did I make the right decision? And I had to reframe my fear when I decided to finally take that step and to launch my business. Instead of asking questions like, what if it doesn't work out? I had to ask myself this question, what if it does work out? Instead of asking the question of, what if they laugh at me? And I started saying, well, if they laugh at me, so what? They laughed at a lot of people that are successful now. So you got to begin to address the fear and ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? You'll say, well, Coach Felix, there's a lot of worst that can happen. And I realize that a lot of us, well, all of us for that point, we're just bigger versions of our kid self. What do I mean by that? Me and my family, we often go to this amusement park, Disneyland here in Southern California. We are Disneyland enthusiasts. At any waking moment, we're going to go to the park. And I remember there's certain rides that when my kids were younger, they didn't want to get on. There's this ride called the Incredicoaster at Disney California Adventure. And we used to try to convince my kids to get on it. And no, look there's a loop, right? I love how we always say there's a loop. That determines if you're going to get on the roller coaster or not, if you don't like roller coasters. If there's a loop, you say, I am out of it. And I remember we used to try to convince my kids, come on, get on the ride. Come on, it's going to be fun. Come on, you're going to have the time of your life. And you know what I realized? They had worked up in their head every negative thing that can happen when they were getting on that roller coaster. The mind is crazy that We can think of something and it cannot actually happen, but in our minds, we can actually see that happening. And I don't know exactly what they were dreaming up. I don't know what was actually the fear that they had. If they had a fear that we were going to go on the loop and the belts were going to come off and we were going to come crashing down. But these things, right, we imagine in our heads. There's no difference between you and I. I have thoughts that race through my head that if I focus on them long enough, they can become a reality in my life. And they can stop me from doing the thing that I know I need to do. What amazed me most is when my kids finally got on this roller coaster and they got off and they looked at me and my wife and we were like, did you guys have fun? And they're like, yeah, that was really fun. Can we do it again? And all of a sudden, all the fear, all the doubt, all the things that they were worried about just seemed to go away. I wonder, what is the lie that we've told ourselves? I wonder what is the lie that you're telling yourself right now, why you can't write the book, why you can't start the business, why you can't go for the promotion, why you can't go back to school. What is the lie that you have conjured up in your head that limits you from actually taking that step? You must begin to reframe your fear. Come on, say it with me. I know you listen to this podcast. Say, reframe my fear. Yes, that's right. You have to begin to look at that fear as the thing that's stopping you from accomplishing the thing that you desire to accomplish. And in order for you to accomplish that thing, for you to write the book, for you to start the business, for you to go back to school, for you to purchase the house or purchase your first car, whatever it may be, to get your credit score back to where it needs to be at, in order for you to do that thing, you must begin to reframe your fear and saying, so what? So what if I don't get approved for the house right away? So what if I get passed up for the promotion? Many of us will never know what it's like to actually accomplish something is because we allow fear to get into the way. And if fear doesn't stop us, this next thing sure will. See, number two, the second thing, the next shift that we must take in order for us to accomplish our goals and our dreams is we must learn to embrace imperfections. That's right. Guess what? We are imperfect people. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. I look at some of the social platforms that we use today, Meta, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn for us business professionals. Do you know that when they launched those products, they look nothing like what they look like today? If they would have waited for every bell and whistle to be properly done correctly, they never would have launched. And that's where some of you guys are at right now. You're waiting for the perfect amount. You're waiting for the perfect day. Now, maybe this sounds familiar. I'm going to start at the beginning of the month. That's right. May 1st, 2026, 2027, I'm going to start the diet. I'm going to start writing the book. Let me tell you this. Everything in life that can possibly go wrong is going to go wrong on that day when you say you decide that you're going to do that thing. That's right. That's how life happens. The moment we begin to make the decision, the moment we begin to take the step, something is going to try to stop us from executing on the thing that we said we were going to do. You have to make a decision that nothing is ever going to be perfect. The only thing that we are required to do is take the step even in the midst of imperfection. Even when we don't see how it's going to work out, we have to take the step. There are a lot of things imperfect about myself. Just ask my wife, ask my kids. They'll let you know. There are a lot of things that's imperfect. I remember when I wrote my first curriculum. It was back in 2020, and it was during COVID. And I remember I wrote it down. Do you know that when I go back and look at that, I'm like, whoo, like people actually, like schools actually let me do this? Now, there was nothing wrong with it. It's just that I've grown as an individual. My knowledge has increased. My language has increased. My delivery has changed a little bit. And so, of course, when I look back, I'm going to be like, whoa, oh my goodness. It's because we're looking back at our past self. And if you're like me, you're constantly always developing. You're constantly always becoming. But the thing is, you will never develop if you don't learn to embrace the imperfections. You know, there were a lot of things that could have stopped me from coming to record this podcast. I woke up this morning, I looked at my beard, and I said, oh my goodness, I didn't go get a lineup. I didn't go do these things, right? But you know what I realized? How can I talk about being imperfect when I'm trying to strive to be perfect? And I told the guys today as they're recording this, I said, just keep it rolling, just keep it going, because I want to show you that even in this segment of us recording this podcast, sometimes there's things that happen. I mumble over my words. I might forget what I was going to say. I might ramble on. But what happens is I can't allow that to stop me from accomplishing the thing that I know I need to accomplish. And it's the same with you. You can't allow the imperfections to stop you from accomplishing the things that you were meant to accomplish. So what if you wrote the book and no one purchased it? Write another book. Or go see someone how you can actually get better at actually writing the book. So what if maybe your credit score is not where it needs to be at, and so you don't want to go and apply for the house and do all the different things. So what happens is year after year after year after year, you allow those imperfections to stop you from doing what you know you need to do. The shift that we must make in life is we have to begin to shift our focus on how we see our imperfections. One of the things that we're in right now is this social media era. And even though maybe we're coming out of it right now, a lot of people are easily able to put up their perfect version of themselves, the perfect family, the perfect job, the perfect experience. All these different things are perfect. You know, as a business owner, I have several businesses and I do a lot of posting for my event space. And you know, on the surface, people look and they go, man, you doing it. Man, you crushing it. And listen, I love it, but the business is going well. But I can tell you this, behind the scenes, whoo, man, at times it can get frustrating. At times the phone ain't ringing, people ain't messaging saying, hey, can we book an event at your space? But on the surface, I can post a picture, I can repost a picture, I can post an old picture from before, I can have AI created image to make things look like it's going. Oftentimes we are putting on the perfect version of ourselves, but I want to let you know, there are no perfect people in the world. You can't say they're accomplishing their dreams and their goals because they're perfect. That's a lie. Listen, I'm not perfect. There's nothing about me perfect. As a matter of fact, it's easier sometimes for us to look at ourselves and see all of our imperfections because we're with ourselves 24/7. But that's the thing that is stopping you from doing the thing that you know you need to do. And many of us, we live this life of circles. We decide that I'm going to take the step. You decide that you're going to start the business, that you're going to write the book, that maybe you're going to do the posts. You're going to start the podcast. Hopefully you are going to do that. I believe that a lot of people should have podcasts. But what happens is maybe you started practicing. Maybe you started telling people about your idea. And you started sharing this with people. And they say, you know you got so many issues. How can you talk to people about this and you're dealing with this? And what happened was all of a sudden those things begin to quiet that dream that you have on the inside of you. I want to ask you a question. What happened to that dream? What happened to the thing that you wanted to accomplish? See, for some of us, fear is the thing that stops us. We allow the fear to intimidate us from accomplishing the thing that we know we need to accomplish. And then once we decide to take the step, now we're faced with our imperfect selves. But we must face that imperfect thing about us, because that imperfect thing about us is the thing that makes us who we are. The imperfect part about us is the thing that's going to attract people to who we are, that are going to attract people to your company, that's going to attract people to your story, that's going to attract people to your brand, to your message. That imperfect thing is going to be the thing that draws people in. And I believe we are entering a time and an age to where people are not going to be afraid to show their imperfections, to show their blemishes, to show their scars, because what they'll begin to realize and what you will begin to realize is the people that have those imperfections, the imperfections that you have, those are the things that brings us together, because we're looking to do life with each other, of people that are struggling sometimes with the same thing that we're struggling with. The things that are people that are have challenges in life. Those are the things that are going to draw us together, because what happens is, I believe this, that we are able to do more together than we are apart. But imperfection keeps you by yourself. Imperfections have you in your room and has you in your thoughts and has you just constantly looking up ways of how to do things, but not actually doing them. That's what imperfection does. That's what fear does. It keeps you isolated. But when you learn to embrace fear, when you learn to embrace the imperfection, what happens is that brings you out of the darkness. It shows you, listen, I'm not perfect. Can all the imperfect people stand up? Unless you're driving, don't stand up. But can you stand up? Listen, I'm imperfect. You're imperfect. But the thing about the imperfection, that's the thing that makes us who we are. So learn to embrace that imperfection. Learn to not allow fear to stop you from accomplishing the thing that you desire to accomplish. How long are we going to allow that thing to scare us? You know, there's so many contexts and so many stories that I can share. But as a young boy growing up in church, I'm a pastor's kid. And I remember one of my favorite stories is the story of David and Goliath. If you're familiar with David and Goliath, David is what we see oftentimes as someone that is unqualified, someone that doesn't meet the stature of what we think someone ought to be as far as accomplishing the thing that he desired to accomplish. And if you go back and you read the text, I encourage you to go back. The Bible is one of my favorite books to read. But there's a passage into where David is now on the field, and there's so many people standing around, and Goliath is taunting the army. And he's saying, look, who's going to come out and challenge me? Who's going to come out and do this thing? Look, I am Goliath. I am the mighty Goliath. And so many individuals are just standing back and they're watching. They're trapped in fear. They're trapped in, I'm not good enough to defeat Goliath. I'm not even the strongest in my family. I'm not even the strongest in this army. Like, how can I defeat that thing? And here we go, this young boy that was overlooked just a few chapters ago, that is not even counted as someone that can be qualified, shows up on a battlefield one day, not looking for Goliath, not looking for a problem, but he's just doing his job. His father gives him the assignment of bringing some food out to his brothers that are on the battlefield. And here David sees a problem. He sees a situation. And he didn't allow fear to stop him. He didn't allow what many people saw as an insecurity to stop him. Matter of fact, that was the thing that pushed him and had his understanding that he was in the right time and at the right place. I wonder what Goliaths are in your life that are taunting you, that are saying you can't accomplish a thing, that are saying you're not smart enough, that you're not fast enough, that you don't have enough money, that you're not enough. But I want to let you know the not enough is going to be the thing that shows you that you can do more than enough. Why can you do more than enough? It's because when you begin to realize that it just requires you to take a step, that it just requires for you, which brings us to our last point, to take action. See, this is like, if the fear doesn't stop you and the insecurity doesn't stop you, this is where many people fall short, is actually taking action and doing the thing that you know you need to do. Stop putting it off. Stop waiting for the perfect day. The mantra that many individuals know that I have is, it's my time and it's my moment. It's my time and it's my moment. But many of that, they use that as a mantra, but yet they don't take action. They don't take action because they allow fear to creep in once again. They begin to look at themselves instead of looking at the people that maybe they need to connect with, and they stop. I love, I think her name is J.K. Rowling. I think that's her name. She's the one that did the Harry Potter books. And when you look at all the struggles and all the things that she had to endure, that she didn't even have heating in her house. And so she would go to a cafe and to write this story that she had, these ideas that she had. She began to write those things out. I look at somebody that realized the thing that was inside of them was greater than any condition that they were currently facing right now. See, and I think that you have to get to a point where you have to begin to say, the thing that's inside of me is begging to come out. And what are you allowing to stop you from allowing that thing that's inside of you to come out? I remember I shared this a couple podcasts ago, is when I had the opportunity to do my first speaking engagement, and fear crept in. Insecurity crept in. But I took action and I did it. And I watched what the impact was. I know I can't show you the impact, but I want to let you know you're going to make an impact. Whatever it is, the book that you write, even if it's one person that reads the book, this is what we do. Oh, what if the book is wrong? What if no one buys it? We work ourselves up with something that hasn't even happened yet. But I want to let you know, even if it's one person that reads the book. Well, Coach Felix, I don't want to put all that time and then only one person reads the book. See, and that's where we go. We go back to the drawing board. Instead of just saying, maybe the one is going to impact 100 that can then go impact 1,000. Did you ever think about that? See, we have to reframe that fear. We have to reframe and embrace our imperfections, but we have to commit to taking action. No matter how hard it is, no matter how difficult it is, no matter, listen, how boring it is. You know, sometimes the people that are getting the greatest results is because they keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. They begin tweaking and modifying and doing all these different things. I have friends that are bodybuilders and they work out. And do you know that they eat the same thing every single day? Oatmeal, rice, and chicken. Oatmeal, rice, and chicken. Oatmeal, rice, and chicken. No seasoning, just bland, just boring. And some of y'all want the results of what the bodybuilders are getting, but you're not willing to do the boring things. All right, I said it. Some of y'all want the six pack, y'all want the chest popping out, you want the biceps, you want it all, but you're not willing to do the boring things. Guess what? You still want to do what you want to do, but get the results that you desire to see. I want to let you know it ain't going to happen. That's right. It's not going to happen. You must put in the work. You must identify and say, what are you going to sacrifice? And I believe that when you start calculating up, this is why you stay stagnant. This is why you stayed in the position that you're in. Listen, I'm not here to belittle you because I don't want to just inspire and motivate you. In a moment, we're going to give you some steps that you can take, that you can begin to address some of these shifts in your life so that you can begin to see your dreams and your goals become a reality. But I want to let you know that guess what? You got to face yourself in the mirror and say, what is stopping you from accomplishing your goals and your dream? What excuses have I allowed to creep in? What things have I allowed to taunt me? And I've listened to those voices, and that's the reason why I'm not doing the things that I know I need to do, that someone needs you to do. What is the thing? I use the weight as an analogy because I think it's one that oftentimes individuals can relate to. They want the results. We start off the year, January, I'm going to get right by summer, but we can't say no to the donuts. We can't say no to the deep fried, wonderful, delicious, delicious food. But yet we want results. And what happens is every year summer has crept up and we haven't seen any results. I'll tell you why. Because we haven't learned to stay consistent with the action we're taking. Listen, you've gone and got the gym membership. You've gone and you've worked out. But yet, we haven't stayed consistent with it. Any little thing that comes our way, which they will come, challenges are going to come your way. They come my way. Every time something comes our way, we go back to the drawing board. We go back to the beginning instead of learning to commit to action even in the difficult times, even in the challenges. So in order for you to turn your dreams and your goals into reality, yes, you must learn to reframe your fear. Ask the question of fear of saying, so what if it happens? So what if they laugh? So what if I make a mistake? So what if I mumble over my words? So what? So what? You must learn to get on the roller coaster and enjoy the ride. Because I want to tell you, this life is going to be filled with ups and downs. But what happens is you'll look back and you'll say, man, look how far we have come. Look at what we've done. Look at what we've accomplished. Look at how I've been used to make an impact in someone else's life. Then we must learn to embrace those imperfections. We must realize that guess what? We're all imperfect people. There's nothing perfect about us. There is no perfect book. There is no perfect message. There is no perfect people. There is no perfect post. There is no perfect solution for you. You know what you're going to have to learn to do? You're going to learn to embrace the ride, embrace the journey, and along that journey, there are going to be some imperfections with that. You must make that commitment that you must learn to embrace those imperfections. What do you know? What is that thing that when you look in the mirror, you just say, well, I can't get the promotion because I didn't got the. Okay, so what do we do? How do we make that happen? And then lastly, you got to commit to action. You got to say, I'm willing to go all in. See, when we commit to action, it doesn't mean that the conditions are going to be perfect. It doesn't mean that everything is going to line up and the sun was shining on the perfect day and everything worked. No, listen, it's going to be hard. Doubt is going to creep in. Results are not going to come fast enough. You're going to start thinking, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I chose the wrong thing. Maybe it's the wrong timing. Maybe I should try something else. All of these things are going to happen. What's the shortcut? How can I? All these things are going to creep in. But you have to make a decision that I'm all in no matter what. And I'm going to commit to taking action. No longer am I going to start and stop and restart. No longer am I going to start, stop, and restart. You're going to stay consistent. You're going to track your growth. You're going to make the commitment that you're going to do this thing for 15 days, for 30 days, for 5 days, and watch that you can stick to a commitment and watch how closer you get to turning your dream and your goal into reality. But let me let you know, with the action part, this is where most people lose. They stay in the idea stage, but what happens is they allow all the external factors stop them from accomplishing the thing that they need to accomplish. But you're different. You're going to stay consistent. Because when you stay consistent, that's when transformation begins happening. I never forget when I was on my weight loss journey and I was working out and I was doing these things and I wasn't seeing results. But I didn't allow the not seeing results stop me. I was determined. I was focused. And you know what amazed me? All of a sudden, people start, they go, man, you've been working out? Now, they didn't know that I had been working out for probably about like 6 months before I started seeing results. But I'm telling you this, when people see results, they're going to start asking you like, how did you do that? When did you do that? It's because commitment and taking action, sometimes people won't see it. They won't see it. Listen, don't miss it. They won't see it until they see it. All right. So I know I said a lot, but let's bring this all together. Let's recenter ourselves and let's go back over everything that we discussed today's podcast. All right. We've explored the mindset shifts that can turn your vision into reality. And so whether that's writing the book, starting your side hustle, going after the promotion, or pursuing any goal that's been calling your name, remember, your life doesn't change just by listening to an episode by Coach Felix and getting motivated. It changes when you take the first step, no matter how small, towards that dream. So here's my challenge for you, because I got to give you a challenge. Here's my challenge for you. I want you to pick one thing. One action that moves you closer to your goal, and I want you to do it for the next 24 hours. That's right. One thing, not 10 things, not 5 things, not 30 things. One thing that's going to move you closer to your goal in the next 24 hours. Because the journey to the next level starts with one decision, with one step forward. And if today's episode resonated with you, if you're ready to turn your ideas into action, and you want a community of like-minded achievers to support you, I've created something special just for you. My Time, My Moment community. It's a place where dreamers and doers come together, not just to talk about their goals, because we can all talk, I'm going to do this, I'm going to start this, I'm going to write the book. No, these are people that are actually achieving them. So I want you to join us. This is my personal invite, Coach Felix invite to you. Join us, and you're going to get the guidance, the accountability, the encouragement you need in order to turn your vision into a reality. So let's go and let's get it, because guess what? It's your time. It's your moment. It's my time. It's my moment. Let's go. Let's get it. I want to thank you for joining me on the Felix Bobo podcast. I hope today's conversation sparked some new ideas and gave you the encouragement to lead and learn without limits. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you subscribe and share it with another educational leader or anyone looking to make a difference in the world of learning. Remember, this podcast is just the beginning. You're now part of the family, a community dedicated to creating lasting impact. Until next time, keep leading with heart, keep learning with joy, and let's transform education together. Thank you for listening.